Hello to everyone in Ventspils Conference Hall, Latvia. And of course, hello to everybody watching us online, wherever you are. My name is Elvis Binders-Čoders. I am Ventspils Technical School project manager, and me and my team have decided to have guests here from Barcelona and the Netherlands, so hello to you. And shortly I'm going to tell you about what this conference is going to be. Maybe from the name of it you can already decide or deduce that this is about plant-based diets and sports. I'm going to first of all tell you about the project and how we got to the place we are with it right now. After that we'll have Elvis Krūze join us on the stage. Maybe some of you know him as an influencer and content creator, and he is going to talk more about sports and his experience. Then we'll have Marina Sokola-Nazarenko, who's a certified clinical psychologist, is going to talk about mental health, a very important topic because health consists of physical health and mental health, so we're going to talk about that today. And afterwards, Sandris Ādminis is going to talk about how we're eating the planet away. Then we'll have a small musical break, and afterwards, Guna Bīlande, a nutrition expert, is going to talk to us about plant-based nutrition and plant-based diets. And maybe some of you will learn some new facts that you did not know before. And in the end, we'll have a panel discussion where we will have 5 guests. 2 of them will be joining us from Sweden and Scotland online, and you will see them here on the screen. So I think we are going to start with my hopefully short presentation about what is this project all about. So the project, and so first of all about partnerships. I already mentioned that our partners are, there's 3 of us together, so Ventspils Vocational Technical School are the main lead, the main partner. We wrote the project and we got partners to join from the Sports Institute of Barcelona and Regional Education Center for North and East of the Netherlands, Alpha College. The idea of the project. Everybody has probably heard about the term thinking green or green thinking, and how I would like us to act would be to have green actions, not just thinking. So thinking should be followed by actual actions. We have only one planet, and the newer generation and probably older generations as well have heard about the impact of people on the environment. So it's one of the main motivations that for the project. One of the second influences that we had to make this project was the influence of COVID-19 on health, both in a very straightforward way, health as in physical health, but also in a non-direct way when you had to work online, so distance learning, distance working. There are definitely some positives of that, but there are also negative things about working distance learning. Maybe if you work as a programmer, then you're used to working long distance and it's easier, but for everybody else it's a bit more difficult. But another thing that came from distance learning and COVID restrictions is that nobody wanted to go outside and be physical. Your parents just brought you some food and you could be lazy at home. So that's another reason why we had to think about this during the project. And Elvis Krūze is definitely going to talk about the positive outcomes of being physically active. The third aspect that I think is very important is having equal opportunities for everybody. We come from different families, different situations, but it's important for us all to start the race at the same point. And then as we go on, you can achieve your goals, but it's very important that the beginning, the starting point is the same for everyone. For all the people in our society, so it would be more equal. And the last aspect that was my personal experience and personal motivation. So I would have a bigger motivation to work. So it's important to find a job that gets you going and where you can see benefit for yourself and others. So, personal experience, I've been a vegan for the last 3 years, and it has changed me and my views on life and on my views on the planet and life on it. And it was one of the aspects that resonated with me, and therefore I think it was very important to involve it in the project. But don't misunderstand me. I like to eat, and I like to eat delicious food, but at the same time I also love animals. But I could eat tasty food without hurting animals. I decided to use a plant-based diet, and nowadays we have so many different options that we can use, and moving forward the dietitian will probably tell us about how very nutritious and delicious plant-based food can be. So these were the 4 main reasons for this project. So green thinking, not just green thinking, but green actions, the negative consequences left by COVID-19, because we want to move less and we want to do less after lessons, and as well as the equal chances for everyone and my own personal motivation for the project. So target Brooks, or the target audience for this project, is you, young people. Everybody, the teachers, and as well as the project management, as well as Ventspils Vocational School, but as well definitely all other educational establishments. Use European funds to better your lives, to give you more options and to gain information. You're the ones who are going to change the world. A lot of you have a very open view on the world. You're less bogged down by stereotypes, and you have more time and more courage to act. And the second part is your teachers. Personally, I didn't think about it when I was younger, but right now I understand that teachers are the people that go to work for your sake, to give you new knowledge. So in the project as well, one of the main goals is to improve the knowledge of teachers, because teachers have to keep on learning themselves so they can give more information to their students, and they have to move on with the times. So this project combines the two main target audiences, the teachers and you, the young people. So we could help you, younger people, with your lives, and you could help everybody else with sustaining the planet. The main goals of the project is to raise awareness for these issues, because there is a lot of information out there, and if it is wrong, then it can hurt the people gaining the knowledge. So right now we have to give as much opportunities to people, for people to get information as we can. I really didn't have an option like this when I was younger. I didn't have the opportunity to ask people the questions that were interesting to me. So you have the opportunity right now during this project to learn the information about this topic. So we have the opportunity to cultivate knowledge from experts' personal knowledge, as well as objective science-based knowledge. And another goal of this project is to lessen the negative habits of people. So cultivating good habits, yeah, and lessening the bad habits. So we should get rid of them as much as possible, and that is one of the goals of this project. And while we keep going on the target goals, one of them is also to lessen the negative impact of distance learning. So that is another aspect. One of the goals is to lessen the negative impact on the environment and to get people to join in on more sports activities, after-school sports activities. After COVID-19 and during COVID-19, probably a lot of you didn't want to be as active as you might have had to been, but one of the goals of this project then is to make a handbook that would be created by a dietitian, as well as physical activities that you could do at home without a lot of effort, but at least having the opportunity to improve your health. And another goal is to just change the way of thinking of people and their actions. So our goal is to have people be more open to all kinds of new information, not basing their knowledge on stereotypes as much, and hopefully change their actions towards a better and healthier lifestyle. So Sunday we had partners from Barcelona arrive, as well as the Netherlands, and we went to play some frisbee in the Olympic Center. And that is also a story about this project that isn't as academical, and there's a great chance for us to create new friendships, not just academical knowledge. Now I have friends in Barcelona, in the Netherlands, and that's something that nobody can take away from you. You don't know what life is going to be like, but you know that if you go to Barcelona, you will have a friend there to drink coffee with. So it's very important during this project to create these friendships and cultivate them. And I think that will be all from me. And I would like to ask to the stage fitness trainer and content creator and influencer that many of you might know. Some of you young people actually recognized him and were eager to try and help during this project because they recognized this next speaker. So please use your opportunities. You know, like this young person filming us right now. So right now, Elvis Krūze, fitness trainer, content creator, and love DN Ventspils. Everybody can hear me? Hey, hey. I'm going to be open already. Experience like this in front of the public is one of the first I've had, but I am also used to public speeches, maybe more in an online environment. Maybe some of you have noticed. Please raise your hand if you have seen me beforehand. Okay. I thought that less people have seen me, then it would have been more interesting to introduce you with me. So my topic is principally sport and what does sport have with your life and achieving your goals. And I thought, how could I interest all of you into at least move a little bit during your everyday life? So maybe I'm not going to tell you exactly how to lift a bar, but maybe some of my life experiences could help you to move forward in life, even mentally, not just physically. And I could also tell you how training helps you physically, helps you improve your health, and also improves your confidence, self-confidence. If somebody would have told me that 5 years ago that I will stand in front of an audience and talk to you guys, I would have told them that they're crazy. But to the people that don't know me, I'm one of those people that tries to be somebody like this already like 7 years ago. I started trying to achieve a better life for myself. So I finished So I had to try and realize who am I when I started working out. I wanted to be somebody who could go up to people and try and help people, somebody who is ready to help people but doesn't wait for anything in return. I would like to be somebody like I wanted someone to tell me you can achieve things in life. So I hope you understood the idea. And to be honest, Ventspils is a very beloved place to me, because Ventspils is the place where I start my first sport. I started doing hockey here. And before I start my next story, I will tell you how I started doing hockey, how this all started. I was young. Until 10 years old, I knew that I liked sport and I wanted to do it. My parents didn't tell me, no, you have to definitely go sporting. But I understood myself that I liked food, and then I should also train. So this is a picture not from my first year in hockey when I was 10 years old, a bit later, but still. And the first time I went to Ventspils and started doing hockey with my trainer. I tried box before, football before, and I felt like somebody was forcing me to do that. But in hockey, I felt in the right place. I felt like I'm where I have to be. And I realized that you have to just taste things, yeah? You have to try things out. If you don't like one sport, you don't like one direction in life you're going in, you have to be confident enough to try something new. I realized I didn't like kickbox, I didn't like box. I left. I went to hockey, I liked hockey, that's what I stick to, yeah? So everything else is already history. how do you find the way for yourself is just try things out. Nowadays, in Ventspils, for example, there's so many sports that you can try out. You can go even try chess if you don't want to do a very physical sport. Yeah? So, we're going to move forward. How did I start being a trainer? Why did I go into the fitness field? Well, while I was playing hockey, at one moment I understood this might not be the direct road that I should be heading in. But I was scared at that point because I understood that I'm not going to be a professional hockey player, but I have to move on. So I understood that at that moment that I have to do something else. And what helped me was that I started going to the gym. So 5 years after hockey, I just started training in the gym, tried different diet plans myself in parallel to hockey, just to have fun. And when I got a bit more confident in myself, found some courses that I could go to, and after finishing them, I started being a trainer. Yeah. But so everybody, if you want to be a expert or more of an enthusiast of something, yeah, don't name yourself an expert. Be an enthusiast. That will keep you going. That will give you the confidence and the drive for new knowledge. So when I went to the courses to be a trainer, and when I was confident that I can help somebody with my knowledge, I started working. Yeah, it wasn't because I knew everything, it is because I knew enough to help people. So the first lessons I had was with groups of 15 to 20 people, where I had to give exercises to larger groups of people. And in those situations, you know that all you can do is give as much of yourself to those people, those 15 people that you can, so when they leave the gym with red faces and sweat, they still have a smile on their face. I had a difficult time to start doing this because I was more self-confident. I wasn't as self-confident. I was more self-conscious. I didn't feel like I could talk with everybody, but I managed to do it. So here in the picture, you can see me training with a person, and you can see that I'm very focused because I like to give everything I can to my job. And maybe TikTok, somebody can recognize me from this. How did I start moving on from being a trainer to TikTok? At one point, I had a lot of clients. I would work with 6 or 7 clients a day, which is a full work day for a fitness trainer. Maybe you don't have to lift their weights, but still you have to mentally be there, so it's very physical taxing. So because each client has their own problems, their own traumas, so in the end of the day, you as a trainer feel exhausted. So then I started thinking, how can I scale up my passion and help more people? So, and then I noticed TikTok. Maybe you notice this person on the left side in the picture. Maybe you know him. I can still call him a friend. I'm very happy that I have met him. He's one of the biggest fitness influencers in the world, and he gave me the enthusiasm and the drive to start my own TikTok journey. For people that maybe can't afford a personal trainer or are afraid to going to a personal trainer, I started releasing these TikToks, and I got the response from all kinds of younger people saying thank you, that my videos have helped them. So on my way here from Riga, my colleague looked at some of my videos and said that he's going to start to do the same thing. He's going to start making videos. So not just because of yourself, not just because of your business, but so you could help more people. Moving on, Dubai. Maybe some of you don't know, but Right now, half of the year I live in Latvia and the other half I live in Dubai. What do I do there? Here's the question where fitness and sport are combined or go hand in hand. So all these years I have stayed loyal to my passion, which is going to the gym, exercising. And if you have a passion like this, just keep moving forward because it's going to take you places. Me going to Dubai was kind of an accident. During the winter in 2019, 18, I watched a TikTok about the whole planet being closed or locked down during COVID, but everything, especially the gyms, were open in Dubai. So I decided that I'm done with working out during the winter out in the cold. I needed a gym, so maybe it was an opportunity for me to get to Dubai so I could do my passion and train in the gym. So I found somebody who thought the same way. We put some funds together and we went to Dubai. While everything in Latvia was closed, we went to Dubai to start training. So you don't have to think about, oh no, it's too expensive, it's too difficult. No, if you have a goal in your mind and you think about it all the time, you will figure it out somehow. So immediately I started contacting my friends, found out people who also want to go there, and we got to Dubai. Maybe who knows this person on the left side? Please raise your hand. If you don't know who this is, the person on the left is one of the strongest people in the world, a strongman, Hafthor Bjornsson. He was in Game of Thrones as the Mountain. Yeah, he's a very popular person. I got to meet him during my work, working with an influencer in my job. It's another person, more known in Instagram, to the right here. And you can see they're both smiling, they're both open, and that's something that I noticed as well. People with millions of followers, millions of euros in their bank account are usually happy and usually open to conversations. Maybe something, us living in Nordic countries, we're not as used to warm weather. But there, when I was there, everybody was happy and eager to work together and network. So if you are not going to be stuck up, if you are smiling and open to other people, you are the one who will choose who you talk to and who you are going to create something with. Don't wait for them to come to you. Smile, be open, and talk with them. Now, going back to sports and all kinds of achievements, what's the achievement? Having a good body, or going to Dubai, or finding a good job, making a business for yourself. Throughout the whole of my journey, while trying to find people and going to Dubai, years already went by. I started when I was 18 after high school, and now I'm 25, so you can see how long it's been. It's been more than 5 years where I just believed in myself, went to the gym, worked out, and believed in myself that I will achieve something. So every day, if I spent at least an hour to if I spent at least an hour on my body, it also helped my mental state. Yeah, so if you sometimes can't get out of the couch, you sometimes have to just have the first step. As soon as you start moving, just get to the gym, move a tiny bit. As soon as you start this, you are going to get into it. Yeah? You don't have to worry about people judging you in the gym, because just remember, when you go to the gym, don't be scared of anyone. And 99% of the people in the gym are good people, and you're usually happy that you're just there. So it doesn't matter in what shoes or with what kind of haircut are you in the gym. Everybody there is just happy that people are working out. only bad people. There are, of course, there's bad apples, but during my whole career, I've never had anybody walk up to me and be mean to me in a gym. When I was younger, when I was going to work out in a smaller gym, where I had a very smart trainer that helped me out, at first I didn't. At first, he didn't come up to me and tell me and show me how to do things correctly. Yeah, so I had some idea how to train because I did go to hockey and have some ideas, but it would have been great if he could have come up to me and helped me out a bit. But so I took up the initiative and I walked up to him and asked him to help me. So right now, if I'm in a gym as a trainer and I see some young person trying to work out somehow and I know that I can help him somehow, I will walk up to them and try and help them. You don't have to worry about, oh no, I'm not going to go up to him and try and help him. Maybe I'm going to disturb him. No, don't think like that. You have to think that you have to help as much as you can. And I'm pretty sure that the person is going to be very happy that you came and helped him. And you shouldn't just do this in the gym. You should do this during school, or when you're somewhere on the street. Yeah? If you see a grandma needs some help, walk up to her and help her, and it's going to help you 1,000%, and you're going to help them 1,000%. So your first steps, maybe what could you do already today after this this event? What could you do? What should your first steps be? If you don't know what you want to do, keep tasting life. Keep trying new things out. If you don't like a sport that your parents are forcing you to do, then just try and explain to them that this is not for you, but you are willing to try something else. If your whole life you'd be drinking the same water and eating the same bread, you wouldn't live a full life. So think for yourselves, you know. 1/3 of your life you spent at work. Second third you spent sleeping, and the third you spent just relaxing. So it is important to start working at a job where you feel accomplished and feel like you can achieve something. And you have to realize that you won't find your job the first day you start working. Yeah? You have to try things out. I have been a bartender. I've worked in places where you have to work two days, like 48 hours at a time. Or I've worked in places where you only work during the summer. But I stayed loyal to myself while going through these jobs and tried to find things that I like. Maybe returning back to Dubai, what did I do in Dubai? Maybe some you wanted to ask, how did I meet these people? So in TikTok, I found other people, other content creators that made similar videos to mine, and we started working together. And I helped them create their own content, yeah? Because I knew that with my expertise, what I've learned from TikTok, I could help the other creators. That's somehow like my second job parallel in training is me helping other content creators. So don't be scared if there's one field, for example, fitness, and you're growing in this field like fitness, that would also nowadays involve knowing how to film proper videos, yeah? Knowing how to diet properly. So don't be afraid to just enjoy things and find new things that you enjoy. So still, if somebody asks me to try new things, I never say no. Always say yes to things. Because you can always say no afterwards. Yeah, there's always been situations where I'm talking with people and you can feel that the person I'm talking to is not being confident, and they're like, no, I don't want to do it. But if you keep talking, if you don't shut yourself off, you just keep talking with them and decide to say no afterwards, then you don't cut yourself off from the situation immediately. By saying no, you immediately cut off your opportunities. So maybe listen to people that are talking to you, because you will have time to say no afterwards. So I didn't expect me to go through this presentation this quickly. So this was my story in these minutes. So how did I live in? How did I get to Ventspils? We went here to start doing hockey. So first I lived in Valmiera, and we moved to Ventspils, and my parents liked the place, so we started living here. But then we stayed here for 3 years, and then because of the financial problems, after 3 years we had to move back to Valmiera. But life just had its way, and after I moved back to Valmiera, Ventspils called me back because they saw me as a part of their hockey team, and they wanted me to come back. So I returned here and had the opportunity to keep living here. So if you go anywhere in the world or try to achieve anything in your life, remember where you've come from, yeah, and remember that you'll have opportunities while you're away, but remember where you come from and never forget that. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. One more thing. I hope that this was useful to somebody. I haven't talked too monotone, but after this conversation, I'm going to be in front. So if you want to talk with me or take a picture with me, we can meet up and take a photo and talk a bit. Thank you, and have a wonderful day. Elvi, please wait a bit. So everybody who will want to take a photo with him, please don't run out right now. Maybe do it after the second speaker, who has a very important topic as well to talk about. So what Elvis said, he said that he's doing things without asking anything in return, but we still prepared something for Elvis. So thank you very much, and we would be happy if you'd come back another time. A great organizer. We kept talking till the last moment, so everything would be organized correctly, and so everybody would feel at home. So thank you, Elvi, and super. And everybody, please watch the next speaker. I'm going to wait here. So during the break, that's when we can meet. Yeah. Thank you. Super. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elvi. Something that I remember from what Elvis talked about. First of all, I'm pretty inspired because I also come from a sports background. I played basketball, and I am a basketball judge right now. So, but there are some days when you're just like out of it, when you don't want to do anything. Everybody has had this feeling. So, about those 10 minutes, at least 5 to 10 minutes, at least 10 to 5 push-ups or sit-ups each day. Not the highest goals in life, but you need to do something. So thanks, Elvis, and thank you for talking about opportunities given to you and using these opportunities, like he said about him going to Dubai. You have to just get over yourself and and be prepared to have new experiences. So now, Marina Sokola-Nazarenko, certified clinical psychologist and health psychologist. Marina will tell you how to get through stressful situations. So let's listen. Hello, and thank you. It's a great honor to be here today in front of you. Hello, dear students. Hello, guests, and hello, teachers. It's a great step in front that we're starting to talk about mental health more openly. It's a great thing. So maybe in 2 words about myself. I work in the Ventspils I work in Ventspils Hospital as a psychologist, and also I'm learning about neuropsychology, which is a new way of thinking how we can change our actions with our thoughts. So probably stress is, everybody's familiar with stress. It's just a uneasy feeling, and different people's feel this in different ways. So maybe some people feel stress in a more physical way. Maybe for other people it's more in a mental or emotional level. But the most important thing to remember, this stress is usually not without reason. Something has to happen for you to feel stress. And of course our body and our minds feels that it is threatened somehow, and we have to react to this. What happens? Our brains start to interpret some kind of information as something dangerous to yourself, to your body, and in return your body activates all kinds of hormones that makes your body physically react, and this happens that fast. It's not a huge process, it happens almost immediately. And the idea maybe is, like, maybe all of you know the first symptoms of stress, you know, dry mouth, shaking, sweating, raised heartbeats, yeah. But what is, as emotions, stress could be like feeling fear or anger or feeling down or just feeling helpless is a sign of feeling stress. Also, while in a cognitive manner, it's harder to make decisions. You feel somehow more depressed, and you start overthinking things. Because if you start thinking to yourself, what will happen if something else happens, that there's probably decent chance that you're suffering from stress. All of these emotions and feelings together give us the feeling that we feel like we have to run away. We want this to end. We want to feel normal. We don't want to live in stress. So we could react to this in an adaptive way, yeah, with smaller levels of stress, that we overcome these complications, but more often than not, we start reacting in a non-adaptive way. We start to just run away from these problems and not deal with them, and it doesn't help with dealing stress. It also raises the risk of people using drugs and alcohol just to mitigate the feelings of stress. And of course, for a short while, these substances help you deal with stress, but the next day when you wake up, the problems are still there and the stress comes back. So usually we divide stress into multiple levels. So right now, I want to show you a short way how you could divide stress into percentages, and it's an interesting mental exercise for you to think about yourself into percentage. For example, maybe right now I feel stress around 30%, or for me right now I feel stress around 60%, yeah? But it's of a low level of stress. It's a normal amount of stress. Low level 1 to 40% is something you deal with every day, and it shouldn't be too difficult to get over these kinds of issues. But if these problems persist, if they keep repeating themselves, your stress levels might rise to a higher level, even to a toxic level, yeah, which is almost like outside the thermometer that I've had there. Yeah, it's so much stress at that point point, yeah, for example, 5 exams in a week, yeah, the stress is so at such high levels, the only thing I want to do is just to run away if the situation does not change. And here I want to tell you about this formula of stress. Yeah, how do we help ourselves to feel worse? Yeah. So the levels of stress rise with the level of possibility of things being worse. Yeah. So the worse you think things might be, and the more it is actually that they could be bad, they just multiply each other and you feel way worse than beforehand. And what happens to us? On the lower part, the how much do I believe that I could get through? How many problems can I get through? Plus, what are actual outside factors that could help me deal with the stress? Yeah? But those are only pluses. They do not multiply. And so everything would get closer to actual reality. What happens during the adaptation process when we first encounter some kind of difficulties? First of all, I understand what's the worst that could happen, and then I think what is the most realistic outcome. And when we let ourselves to think about what's the worst outcome, we automatically give ourselves the option of dealing with the problem situation. So it's very nice to give yourself the questions in these situations like, what helped me in other situations similar to this? What can I do to myself to make myself feel better? What can help me and who can help me? And we always ask from a psychological standpoint that you have to do a self-check. Is it really an actual problem situation where I'm somehow endangered? Yeah? Am I endangered physically or emotionally? Is my emotional well-being being endangered? Or maybe just my stability as a person? Yeah? You have to think about how long these problems have persisted. Have they repeated themselves? Has it happened more than once? Yeah? In the last years, you know it yourself, yeah, that we have many problem situations. So the median stress levels have risen the last 2 years. So then I have to think, do I need to seek help? Do I need to see professional help? And I have to ask myself, do these problems give me difficulties sleeping? Do these problems give me difficulty in my school life? And you have to think about this. So what to do? This is relevant to the lower part. What can help me? And here we're going to talk about the well-being. Yeah? And well-being theories are all kinds of different ones. Yeah? You probably have heard all kinds of different well-being theories, but right now I would ask you to look at the base things. So emotional well-being, social well-being, mental well-being, and physical well-being. So emotional well-being is actually one of the most important things about emotional well-being is knowing yourself. How many emotions do you know that you feel? What can you say that you feel emotionally? What kind of emotions do you feel? Because you have to know these emotions, understand them, so you would know what you have to change. What is the problem? Is there even a problem? This is very important. There are techniques to improve your emotional well-being and improve your and improve your possibilities of dealing with these emotional well-being problems. In a social circle, social well-being, we have to think about the social circle that we live in. So the last 2 points, veselīga vide and healthy environment and healthy environment and healthy relationships. It is very important. These two are very important because it's very important for us. If we want to feel well, we need people that help us feel better, and we need an environment where we don't have to be stressed each day just thinking about how am I going to get through today. We have to be more open, and we need to have a better way of understanding ourselves. So, and now the mental well-being, and this is my favorite part, about how to lessen the stigma of when and how you can ask for help. And the physical well-being, so Elvis already started talking about this beforehand. So we have to give ourselves the physical comfort, a specific goals that you give yourself. For example, your body needs to know when is it going to have time to sleep, to rest. When is your body going to have the time to eat, to get nutrients? And this already improves your well-being by your body knowing when it's going to get the things that it needs. As well as being sportive, being active in a sports sense, yeah, without just getting some kind of achievements in sports, no, but doing sports just for yourself, for your own well-being is very important. Why do young people not ask assistance? So I think that a lot of you will probably see themselves in while I talk about this. So one of the reasons why young people don't ask for help is because they just don't know. What do psychologists do? Yeah, how could they help us? Or the stigma that, no, I'm not a psycho. Yeah, just because you go to a psychologist doesn't mean that there are problems with you. You don't have to be in a huge crisis to ask for help. Even if you have a little problem, you could talk with a psychologist. Then other people say, oh, I have a friend, I could talk with him. Yes, but your friend isn't a psychologist, and a psychologist isn't your friend. So probably a lot of you have had a negative experience. Yeah? A lot of you have worked at school, have been at school, and you have probably seen some people reacting negatively to young people asking for help. So one of my, in quotations, favorite activities in school, yeah, or some kind of situations in school, is that if you're just unruly during the class, you're going to go to the psychologist and talk with them, which is not right. That's not something you should perpetuate. You don't go to the psychologist because you've done something bad or you're bad. Yeah? You go to a psychologist to ask for help, to seek support. Yeah? They're not somebody that are going to change your behavior. They're just going to try and help you find solutions. So, and then of course, young people are afraid to go to psychologists, afraid of other young people bullying them for being weak. Then as well, the relationship with the specialist and the one seeking help. So just so you would know, we have an ethical code. It is as a psychologist, it's one of our main, not goals, but main things is that we cannot talk about your problems with other people. If we want to talk to other specialists about your problems, we need to ask your confirmation that we can discuss your situation with others. So a lot of people going to the psychologist think that they're going to be somehow punished for, or we're going to tell you, oh no, you're bad. But no, it's not about that. It's about creating a real good cooperation between the specialist and the client. And then about other factors, I'm going to talk about less, because there's all kinds of factors that we could be talking about, but a lot of the time is just lack of motivation, just like, oh, I can't go there, I don't have the time, and that's how it usually ends. And then there are groups that are more at risk groups of not getting enough help. Those are people that are sick with COVID and have long-term COVID implications. And I have met people in the hospital after COVID that before COVID didn't have issues, but after COVID have very distinct issues. Then, of course, using all kinds of drugs, yeah. And if you're somehow addicted to drugs or alcohol, you'd feel like, oh no, there's no point in going to the psychologist. They're just going to tell me, oh, it's bad, it's bad. I know it's bad, but no, that's not what psychologists do. We give them the opportunity to decide to deal with problems in a different way, not by using drugs, but by making different choices. As well, another at-risk group would be LGBTQ plus people that maybe may see discrimination every day and don't feel that they will get the support from the psychologist. Another group would be people of survivors of violence, either emotional violence, sexual violence, or physical violence. Yeah, they don't trust people as much, so they have a harder time opening up to psychologists, and maybe they feel scared that to come forward and talk to people and tell them what has happened to them. But it is very important, because then I can give them the tools that they need to get over or get through their pain. So now, how could you deal with these problems? How? So, for example, we have a problem, an exam tomorrow. Yeah. So, first of all, I have to think about the potential ways to get through this problem. One of them would be, for example, just not going to the test, but maybe there's a more optimal way to deal with this. So maybe I can make a plan. How could I deal with this? So one of the things that you should do, if you're planning, is you should reward yourself. How often do you reward yourselves? How often do you reward yourselves, for example, for getting a good mark in school? How often do you really tell yourselves, good job, me, good job, I got a 9, 7, 10, or a 6, it doesn't matter, but very good that I achieved this. How often do you tell yourself this? Yeah? So after that, we just evaluate the how difficult this problem is, yeah, and that's one way to get through your problems. Another way is correct breathing. Yeah? Everybody knows how to breathe, but not how to breathe correctly. The idea is that through breathing, you can calm yourself. So you know that the brain tells you that you're feeling stressed or you're endangered somehow, and it sends the information to the body. So the same way, we can, through our body, give our brain the information that then, hold on, it's fine, nobody's attacking us, we feel great. So you could deal with stress through breathing. Then how to make social support more more attainable. So, for example, for me, breathing helps me get through stress, but maybe Anna, my friend, for her breathing does not help. She has to go run and exercise to get through stress. So, but it doesn't work for me. So, right now, what I can do, I can write down what things help me, what doesn't help me, yeah, what things I don't like when people talk to me, and so when I am having difficulties, I have a list of things that I can do to help myself, and also I have a list of people that can help myself. So what I do is make a list with the people that I can go to and to seek help. So 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 practice of mindfulness, techniques of mindfulness. There are many books about this. It's very nice and beautiful, but the idea is that we learn to think about ourselves and the issues that we have without being mean to ourselves, without asking, oh, what did I do? How did I do it wrong? No, we love to criticize ourselves. But when's the last time, okay, I did this? When you think, oh, I did this, did something bad happen? No. But right now, this is the moment when you should think and try to think about the things that you've achieved. So, the last concept, oh, the last point is self-compassion, yeah? And don't think this is a bad thing. Self-compassion is very important. It's important. It's okay that I'm sometimes angry at the teacher who gave me a bad mark, yeah? Or if I'm angry at not having the time to prepare for an exam, yeah? And sorry exams, but sorry teachers, but maybe you are sometimes angry at your students, but it's okay. It's okay to be angry sometimes, yeah? You don't have to be, you just don't criticize yourself, yeah? Learn self-compassion. Realize that feeling emotions, negative ones at that, is normal. And in conclusion, work please, thank you, yes. In conclusion, so we learn how to self-regulate. We give ourselves and our body comfort by giving ourselves a plan, a workday plan, by doing physical exercises and having the right people around. So it's so what to do? Well, while you are in stress, you won't learn how to breathe properly. So when you are calm, do, for example, today while you're listening to this conference, try the breathing techniques, yeah? Try breathing properly, so when you will have the stress, you'll have the opportunity to use the knowledge that you've had, yeah? So, oh yes, good job. I can hear you all breathing. Okay, maybe let's do it a bit more calmly. Let's do it together. Wait, Elvis, sorry. I have to do this. I have to react to my to the audience. So here. Wait, not yet. Not yet. Look at the square. So it's gonna hold and then we're gonna start. So inhale. Hold your breath. Hold it. Exhale. Good job. Again, hold. Hold. Inhale. Hold it. And exhale. Good job. Great. You've earned yourself a round of applause. Great job. Great job. Thank you. Thank you very much. It was fantastic. Thank you very much, Marina. I think that improvising is one of the greatest things that can happen on stage. So thank again, Marina, and great applause. So technical thing about Elvis. So at 2, when the conference is over, you can meet Elvis. He's going to be in the foyer in front, so if you're interested, you can meet him there afterwards. So I listened to Marina, and what I heard was something you might have heard a lot in life, but the next speaker has probably heard it more often than others. The word, when you're talking about, oh, you have to go to the psychologist, may have problems with your head, but but this next speaker has probably heard even worse because he's talking about really complicated topics, really important topics. So I'm gonna stop talking now, and I'm gonna invite Sandris Ādminis, so who's a speaker. Labdien, hello, hi, how are you? I'm very happy to see so many people here, such a wide crowd, so many eyes and so many minds who are ready and willing to follow these topics and listen to these presentations. So my job here today is to talk more about diet and food consumption and how our decision of eating one or different type of foods impacts the planet and the ecological system that we depend on and many other species depend on as well. So I create a zootech, a kind of newsletter that I support, that also supports Rig Animal Save. And what we do there is we talk about climate protections and animal protection because they're very combined. And I would like to tell my story about with you. Please think. How do you think? How many animals do we eat in Latvia, in the world, a day, for example? How many animals do we eat? Well, of course, I'm asking this question with the idea, or this idea that this has a huge impact on the world, and I think that this number is going to shock you. Maybe I'm pressing the wrong button. Okay, here. So the number is with 9 zeros. So every year in the world, we slaughter all kinds of animals. That might be chickens, smaller animals like chickens, or bigger animals like cows. But that's without counting sea life, because you don't really count sea life by each life. You count them in tons. But in Latvia, the number is, of course, smaller. But in the during a year, the number is 21 million. Yes, so it's everybody. It's cattle, pigs, sheep, all kinds of poultry. Yeah, and this is the number of animals that we slaughter, yeah, for consumption of meat. So, and you can see that the consumption in the world is rising each year, not just in the world itself, but by individuals as well. Mostly because of in the countries, more developed countries like Europe and USA, they also look at our how much meat we consume, what do we eat, what do we drink, what do we look at, and they take this information in and look at all the consumption together. So maybe America wouldn't be the greatest example with all their piles of trash that they have, but eating meat has consequences. So I'm not going to be talking too much about numbers because you don't really remember those numbers. But also the numbers may be different in different researches. But just in by slaughtering animals, by slaughtering livestock, the environmental impact that it has is greater than all transport combined. So there are all kinds of different methods to calculate this, and it's quite a new field of research. But the conclusion is that the livestock industry together is worse for the environment than transport. From one side, we could be more individually responsible, eat better food, fly less, but from the other side, we also should make sure that the society altogether, for example, the food that you can get at schools, or the standardized foods that you get at malls, should be more environmentally friendly. So the choices should be more environmentally friendly, not just individuals should think about it. We shouldn't just think about the individuals and their picks. The way that we produce food should be more environmentally friendly, and the way that we talk about this in society should be more environmentally friendly. So the problems that we face when consuming so much meat would be greenhouse gas emissions, and you can see that cattle has the largest impact on greenhouse gases because it takes so much space to grow cattle, and but the first plant-based foods that impact the environment are chocolate and coffee, and you can see that it is only after the beef and dairy and lamb and cheese consumption or supply chain. But you can see that chocolate and coffee doesn't take as much and doesn't create as much greenhouse gases. Another reason would be deforestation. So to grow cattle, we deforest huge amounts of forest just to create cattle and to create food for the cattle, and it takes up too much place. And we create and it creates a lot of problems. But if we look at soy and how much space we use to grow soy, you might think, oh, but well, then people that don't eat meat are also at fault. But no, actually 90% of soy that we grow in the world is used as livestock, as food for livestock. So maybe if we use less of this soy to to feed the cattle, we could use more of it for ourselves. So we can't just look at the situation from a very narrow point of view. We have to look at the situation on a more global scale. So keeping in mind about deforestation, one of the things that happens is species going extinct. So right now, it's species go extinct 1,000% faster than it usually than it did 100 years ago. So right now it happens 1,000 times faster, and one of the main reasons for this is how we use the planet, how we use the environment around us. If we deforest, if we uh, make fields for livestock, and we make it harder for species to find mates and continue their species. So the livestock that we grow takes in biomass takes up 96% of the mass of the whole world. I think he meant 60. And 5%, only 4% is wild animals like buffaloes and all and elephants, yeah. And you might think, well, why these huge animals? They should take up more. They should take up more space, but they also take up a lot of space to live, yeah? But they don't have the space anymore, so they go extinct. So when's the last time did you see cows or pigs that just live in the wild? No, but you don't. Usually you see them on farms, during transit, and in your stores. So we don't see them just living regularly, yeah? But when you see the consumption of meat that we consume, so the amounts of meat that we consume, then you can see that this is an issue, because all of these animals have to live somewhere. So, as I said before, growing livestock takes up way more space than it does growing plant-based foods. Yeah? So in the same place where we grow enough cattle for one person, in the same place we could feed way more people by growing plant-based foods. So if we would, the whole world, go completely vegetarian right now, we could feed the whole world with plant-based foods by using just 1/6 of the space that livestock and growing livestock takes right now. So we could improve not just the environment and biodiversity, but our diets. So another issue is water consumption. So maybe we don't feel it as much here in Latvia, but you can see news around the world where huge droughts have become a problem, where we don't even have enough water for ourselves, much less so to grow the huge amounts of water that cattle require. Like here, the example is to grow 1 kilo of pork, we need more than 6,000 liters of water, which seems so weird. Just a little amount, a kilo of meat is 118 showers worth of water. And if you don't trust these numbers, I am going to show you the places where I got all of this information. So another thing that I think is very important is that if we feel like animals are just nothing, just pieces of meat with no emotions, then it's one thing. But if we think that animals are living beings, for example, like the cows here that we see here, or little cows that we couldn't grow for cattle or to get milk from them. For example, if we have small cattle, and you see that they're not going to grow up to be livestock, and they are not going to be milk producers, they still get slaughtered and made into small sausages then. Another issue is just how much do we talk about this? How much do we show the society? How do we grow our livestock? In what environment do they grow up? How do they live? And what we see in commercials and in meat commercials really doesn't show how we grow the livestock, because there's no realism to it. You don't see how they actually live, and the commercials are not being honest. Maybe we would, if we would see in what kind of conditions the cattle lives or the livestock lives, we might think twice about buying a cheap burger. So maybe it should be that meat is more expensive if we want to give the livestock better living conditions, and if we care about how we treat animals. So it's not just up to the government to set these rules. It's also up to us and who we even elect in the government, and what we are ready to buy. What do we put? Do we put our money where our mouths are? And for one example, we look at cats and dogs, and we protect them more than ever before. If they have some kind of issues, we go to the vet and try to help them and spend all the money that we can just to make their lives better. We call them by their names, we know how old they are. But on the other side, that's just a small amount of all animals, dogs and cats. So there's like a double standard. At one point we view cats and dogs as parts of our family, but on the other side there's those animals that are just things that are just grown and cleaned just to get a product out of them, either meat or hide or something. But ideologically and actual biology, there is no difference between these animals. They are both animals. Some even say that that pigs are smarter than dogs, and they could be better pets than dogs. But we do not actually give these animals the opportunity to we don't give these animals the opportunity to, we don't give society the opportunity to get to know these animals, so we just look at them as just a piece of meat with 4 legs. So maybe if we'd have the opportunity to see these animals and kind of see the situation from a different side, maybe we wouldn't think only as we wouldn't think of cats and dogs as our pets, but we'd realize that all animals are the same. So it's maybe this speciesism. It's almost as racism. It's almost like racism. Just because you're a different color, it doesn't mean that you have less value. The same thing, the same way as racism, we have speciesism, where just because some species we view as pets, we just mistreat other species without thinking about it twice, even if they don't deserve it. So it's a huge philosophical question that's really connected with these ecological connected with the ecological situation in the world. And nowadays you can see that it goes hand in hand. A lot of animal protection organizations have started talking more about the environmental impact as well. So trying to speak more about the fact that growing cattle and growing meat is not just bad bad from the view. I'm sorry. So if we view animals as as beings that should be here on the planet and who we should take care of, then we should realize that the species does not matter. So shortly, that is my talk. So I hope that you have had fun. You can decide not to trust the information that I gave you, but then I would ask you to please check the information that I used. So in my Instagram profile, Zootech, I'm going to also add all the information that I used in this presentation. You can check it yourself. So thank you, Sandri. Please don't run away. I would like to thank you from Ventspils Technicums as well. So thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Really impressive conference. It's great pleasure to be here. Thank you for being here. If anybody, while they were listening, got a bit sad and depressed about this topic by seeing those words and seeing the presentation, and maybe you're thinking, but how can I help? How can I help with the situation? So because of this, we have our last speaker, who is going to be a diet expert. So but before that, to relax a bit, I am going to ask a musical guest to step up for us to have a little nice break. So please enjoy this.
Horizonta zilā tālumā, varbūt ir labāk dzīvot kā nekā. Tur viss ir labi, tur ir viss okei. Tur laimīte no spaiņa laimilēj. Tur aiz horizonta zilā tālumā, kāds man teica, dzīve esot labākā. Bet es sēžu citar jūras maliņā, uzrunājot viņus dzimtā valodā. No austrumiem šurp nesas austrumvējš, bet ziemeļpusē svilpo ziemelis. No dienvidiem tāds vējš skurps un spēš, bet rietumpusē ceļas viesulis. Tur aiz horizonta zilā tālumā, kāds man teica, dzīve esot labākā. Bet es sēžu citar jūras maliņā, uzrunājot viņus dzimtā valodā. Tur aiz horizonta zilā tālumā, kāds man teica, dzīve esot labākā. Bet es sēžu citar jūras maliņā, uzrunājot viņus dzimtā valodā. Uzrunājot viņus dzimtā valodā. Paldies! Es ceru, ka jums ir labi. Ļoti vērtīgs par ļoti aktuālām tēmām, kurām ir jārunā. Bet labi, es ceru, ka mūzika jūs nedaudz, pirmā dziesmiņa nedaudz lēnāk, bet lai skan tagad kaut kas ātrāks, lai mēs nedaudz iekustamies. Lai skan. Pateikt vārdus, bet klusums bija pārāk skaļš. Un nekaunīgi bēris vārtus, spīdoga Es klausījos vien tavā elpā, kas mierīga un silta plūst. Tik daudz šeit pasaulīgā telpā, mums vienam otrā jāapkūst. Es ļāvu rokās kaut un mīties, jo zināju, tas nevar sust, tas nevar sust, tas nevar sust. Cik skaisti ir tā noraudzīties, caur pirkstu galiem tevi just. Sirds mīlestība līja pāri, man gribējās tās gaismu dot, kā pārpildītu medus kāri. Plāsi lēni skaršot, sirds mīlestība līja pāri, man gribējās tās gaismu dot, kā pārpildītu medus kāri. Plāsi lēni skaršot. Paldies! Paldies par gaismiņām! Lai skan nākamā dziesma. Tev līdzās droši gaismiņas atstājam. Baigi skaisti izskatās. Tavas rīta ilūzijas cauri manai dienai vijas, un nekad, nekad tev nebūs gana. Bet ja gara ceļa galā draugi tevi pastums malā, tu piecelsies un turpināsi iet. Jo tu ticēsi sev un tu nebaidīsies, tavi sapņi tad piepildīsies. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, kopā caur ēkšķiem līdz pat zvaigznēm cerības vīt. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, redzēt, kā tavas siltās prieka asaras krīt, kājas slīd uz melnā malā, bet tu dosies arvien tālāk, jo nekad, nekad tev nebūs gana. Bet kad pašā kalna galā tevi gribēs pastumt malā, to nebūs iespējams vairs izdarīt. Jo tu ticēsi sev un tu nebaidīsies, tavi sapņi tad piepildīsies. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, kopā caur ēkšķiem līdz pat zvaigznēm cerības vīt. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, redzēt, kā tavas siltās prieka asaras krīt. Tikai mīlestība spēj tavus sapņus piedzīvot, tikai mīlestība spēj atbrīvot, tikai mīlestība, tikai mīlestība, tikai mīlestība vien. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, redzēt, kā tavas siltās prieka asaras krīt. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, kopā caur ēkšķiem līdz pat zvaigznēm cerības vīt. Es tikai vēlos būt tai brīdī līdzās, tev līdzās, redzēt, kā tavas siltās prieka asaras krīt. Vai tu neredzi?
Paldies! Un nākamā dziesma arī ir par mīlestību, jo tomēr viss, kas šeit notiek, tas ir par un ap mīlestību. Mīlestība pret sevi, mīlestība pret otru, mīlestība arī pret dzīvniekiem, pret planētu, pret mūsu zemīti, ja? Tā kā nākamā dziesma tieši par mīlestību. Lai skan!
Kas tur deg, siltā saulrieta krāsā? Kas tur sauc mani mīļ kā māsā? Kam tas vērš rozā ziedlapas mētā? Kas tur sāk mani dziļi kā rētā? Kas tur zied visos vasaras ziedos? Kas tur cer, ka tam visu reiz piedos? Kam tā pasaules augstākā smaile? Kas tur smejas, kad citus māc bailes? Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Kas tur sauc tevi pusnaktī dejot? Kas tas ir, kas liek dzejniekam dzejot? Kam tie sapņi, kas aicina zīlēt? Cilvēks ir piedzimis elpot un mīlēt. Kas tur zied visos vasaras ziedos? Kas tur cer, ka tam visu reiz piedos? Kam tā pasaules augstākā smaile? Kas tur smejas, kad citus māc bailes? Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs. Visā kas mircošs un visā kas rūs, mīlestība ir, bija un būs.
Paldies! Un nu, mana noslēdzošā dziesma, es izvēlējos bērnu
Another
dziesmu.
song
Bet
for
nekas,
my last
tā ir dziesma
song.
par to, ka
I'd
labāk nevar būt.
picked,
Bet varbūt var būt
children's
tomēr
song.
bišķiņ labāk var būt. Bet šeit mēs esam un šeit mums ir ritīgi forši.
Here we are all here and we're all
Vairs nav jāiet atpakaļ.
having fun,
Ideāli.
so
Tātad
most of you don't have to
skolu
go
mēs
back to
dosimies
school.
rīt, šodien mēs
Perfect.
paliksim
So
mājās.
tomorrow we're going to be
Labi, lai
going
skan.
to school. Today we're going to be staying at home. Let it ring.
Bet šeit mums jādzied beigās visiem
But
kopā,
here
ja?
at the end you'll have to all sing together.
Paskaties pa logu spīd saulē, gaismas starp pērlītes krīt. Ai, mēs šodien paliksim mājās un uz skolu dosimies rīt. Paskaties, kā vannā šalts jūrā, izliet nekā gliemēš vāks mirds. Jā, mēs šodien paliksim mājās, te mums visiem mierīga sirds, jo te ir Paskaties, kā virtuvē krūzes, plauktās tā kā piramīdas. Ai, mēs šodien neiesim ārā, tur no tā nav viti nekas. Paskaties uz bildi pie sienas, tur var Parīzi ieraudzīt. Jā, mēs šodien paliksim mājās un uz skolu dosimies rīt. Jo te ir labi, tik ļoti labi, te viss ir paties, te prieku jūt. Jo te ir labi, ak vai cik labi, kā labāk nemaz nevar būt. Jo te ir labi, tik ļoti labi, te viss ir paties, te prieku jūt. Jo te ir labi, ak vai cik labi, kā labāk nemaz nevar būt. Un tagad ir tā vieta, kur viss kopā. Hei, 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 Paldies jums, liels paldies par atbalstu un lai jums izdevies atlikušais pasākums.
Thank you, Katrīna. Hope that you've all woken up with hey.
Nu, kā nākamo
Is our
dalībnieci,
next speaker.
iesakot, manuprāt, viņa ar savu prezentāciju
Pretty
kliedēs.
sure that with her presentation she's going to get rid of all kinds of myths and stereotypes. So I'm not going to be talking a lot about this. So LSU lecturer and dietitian Guna Bīlande. Thank you, Elvis. Oh, there is a lot of you here. There are a lot of you here. Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi. This is probably going to start with... Oh, before the presentation, here it is. I'm going to start with... before we start talking about theoretical knowledge, there's not going to be a lot of it. I'm going to introduce you to my situation. So, how did I start working with plant-based nutrition? So I remember going to work or after work, sitting by a computer and trying to make myself work, but what I really want to do is crawl into a corner and just sleep. And something that really kept me going was cacao, because I really didn't like coffee, but it kept me going. So I tried to survive like that, just living on cacao. And through all kinds of coincidences, my family moved to a plant-based diet. And at that point I realized, why am I so sleepy and lethargic after eating? Because the diet that I was having made me sleepy, made me feel heavy. And this realization helped me realize that I want to switch up my profession, switch up my career, and understand how can I help people and myself better their lives through diet, to work better, work harder. And this was during my studies. But nowadays, after lunch, I don't feel tired at work. I can keep doing what I intend to do. And this was the idea. Yeah? This is probably how a lot of you feel after a meal. Yeah? Just immediately sleepy. So right now, so what are the benefits of plant-based nutrition and a plant-based diet? How do you know? What do you think? Health. Okay, health is good for you. So what's in fruit and vegetables? Nutrition, fiber, vitamins, and all kinds of things. But so when you read, for example, about oil, that plant-based oil has no cholesterol, and of course, because plants can have cholesterol, but it's a great marketing trick. So moving on to a plant-based diet does ask more from us. It asks us to plan more, to think about our diet more. But conceptually, it's already the question for all kinds of diets. So we have to plan. And still, even if we try to move on to a plant-based diet and we feel like there's something missing in the nutrition that we receive, we can use all kinds of plant-based nutritional vitamins that we can use to substitute these nutrients and vitamins that we need. What about the health risks or the bad things about eating a plant-based diet? So it is not just the fact that talking about protein, but a lot of people think about chips and fries when they think about plant-based diets. And even though chips are made of plant-based products, it's still, if they are being produced in a large quantities, they are usually still considered an unhealthy food. So a lot of the time I see people that they say that, oh, when I started the plant-based diet, I don't feel like I have the strength, I don't feel like I have the energy, and they say, oh, it's everything's opposite to what you told us. So this might usually be because of a lack of iron or other vitamins and nutrients. So what you have to do is go to a specialist and ask, what should I do? We can take all kinds of we can do blood work and find out what kind of nutrients are you missing and improve your diet to match this. And many times you just have to eat more nuts or more dried berries because there's a lot of nutrients and vitamins in it. So for example, eating rye bread is probably better than eating white bread. So maybe if you're tired, there's just something that is lacking in your diet. But if we look at your blood work and figure it out, we can decide how to improve your diet. So today I want to give you 5 reasons why I think it is important for us to use a more plant-based diet as the base for our nutrition intake. So probably in Ventspils you have been to children's playground and see little kids with so much other energy, and you can you're probably thinking, where do these kids get so much energy? And I'm pretty sure that if somebody can find out how to get the energy from the children that are ready to run around, and if we can somehow make it into electricity, you could probably win a Nobel Prize. But as grown-ups or young adults, how can we get this source of energy just like the kids? Well, it is plant-based nutrition, because a lot of plant-based plants and foods already contain the enzymes needed to give to your body. And so if you eat foods that already have the enzymes to break themselves down, then your body uses less energy to break down these foods because they help themselves break down, and after a meal you won't have this food crash where you have no energy. So we already had a question about protein, and yes, a plant-based diet can support you with all the protein needed, but it takes a bit of planning. Usually in plant-based diets you don't have all the amino acids needed in one plant like it would be in, for example, beef, but there are going to be some enzymes in beans, some enzymes in nuts, so you have to combine these categories of nutrition and these different foods to ensure that you get the right amount and variation of amino acids that your body requires. A lot of people say, that vegetarians, vegans don't get enough protein, yeah. But statistically, it's even proven that no. Usually, people on these types of plant diets can get the amount of protein that their bodies require. Second thing that I would like to mention is the ability to concentrate. Of course, you understand that if you have homework or some kind of job that you have to do, there's nothing more important than the ability to focus on the job at hand. And how can a plant-based diet help us in this situation? If we don't eat a croissant or a sausage during breakfast that usually have all kinds of fatty acids that clog up our arteries and that clog up our arteries, and instead we choose a plant-based diet, then we get better blood circulation, better oxygenation of blood, and you can concentrate and think way better than with a meat-based diet. And it also works for older people, so remind your grandpa or grandma to keep eat some vegetables, because that will help them keep their mental capacity even in an older age. So lessening stress. It would be perfect that each of us would have time during the day to do some yoga, to meditate, or maybe run a bit or do some exercises. It would be great, and it is great, but there are other things that we can also do to improve our stress, and one of them is through our plates. If we look at what science has shown, it's interesting to see that if we have a lot of animal-based products and less plant-based foods in our diet, then we have less cortisol in our blood, yeah, which is necessary for the flight or flight response. So if we have less animal-based products in our diet, we lower these levels of cortisol and help our bodies to be more calm and to be more ready to deal with stress in a natural way. Another very important thing is being out of bed and being healthy, to be able to go outside, to be able to achieve your goals and new business ideas. And of course, if we are sick, we cannot do this. So we need to charge our immune system. And how could plants help us, a plant-based diet help us with this, is by helping us with all kinds of vitamins and antioxidants that can be found in plant-based products, which improve our immune system and help us get sick less. You probably have heard about this rainbow plate, you know, that you have to have different colors of foods from different nutritional groups on your plate. You know that we cannot lessen or mimic the actual vitamins and nutrients that we can get from an apple and put them in a pill. We can't really do that. The best one would be the one that comes from nature. And of course, the fifth one, last one, is well-being. If I would just take this remote and throw it somewhere into the crowd by looking at medical statistics, I would probably hit somebody who's active, then he would probably be happier. The same way, if you don't think as much about physical activities and diet, you probably feel less happy. It's just research. Research shows that eating a proper diet and exercising will improve your sleep, help you deal with stress better, help you lose weight. It will improve not only your health, but emotional and physical well-being. You feel better about yourself, you feel more confident, you can achieve more, and realize your goals. Just as some examples, for random plant-based research on plant-based diets, yeah, and you can see that a plant-based diet reduces the issues with heart problems. They help you manage your weight. They help you manage your blood sugar levels and your how you respond to sugars. And a plant-based diet helps you reduce the possibility of getting diabetes, for example, of becoming overweight, and it also lessens the possibility of you getting Alzheimer's or other types of diseases that come with age and usually are increased by eating a animal product-based diet. So by eating a plant-based diet, we can reduce the chance of all kinds of illnesses and improve our well-being and live longer lives. So then the most important thing that I would like to say is that we should be able to think about our health and evaluate it, and only when we can compare how important is it to have days when you feel healthy and when you feel strong, and compare them to days when you feel bad and don't feel like you have the strength to do something. If we can compare these 2 days, you can probably very clearly decide and see which is the correct way to go, which is the correct path for you to take. So, of course, everything starts with what we put on our fork. So, I would recommend you to try out a plant-based diet and see how it feels to feel different. Thank you. Huge thanks to Guna from Ventspils. So with this, we are going to be saying thanks to all the speakers today. The same way as Guna, Sandris, and Elva. They came from Riga here, so they could talk. Marina is from Ventspils, but still thanks to her as well. I hope this gave you some information and hopefully some motivation to start working out, for example, after this conference, or maybe go for a run in the Ventspils Olympic Sports Center. So right now we have our last part of the conference left, a panel discussion. We're going to try and get through this quickly, but with a lot of information. We'll have 5 speakers here. 3 will be here on stage, and 2 of them will be joining us. Will be joining us online. But here are partners from Barcelona and Netherlands. Right now, haven't learned Latvian yet, but they have a translator here in the booth. So we have a translator here, right behind this small window. So thanks to the translator for doing his job today and letting you get the information you need to know for improving your health. So, one of the people that are going to be here on this panel discussion, Laura Čodere. Laura was an inspiration to me as a project manager, but she's also a certified coach. So she's the second person who's going to be joining us, but she is going to be joining us afterwards during through the screen. Another friend of mine, somebody I've met on the basketball court, is the international basketball court judge. Rashods Miroslavs. I hope these are positive emotions that you're showing right now by clapping. The third person I'm going to talk about, that I'm going to ask to join us here on stage, is Armāns Smildzējs, student from Ventspils Technicums, third year student, also here. And remotely we have 2 more speakers joining. First of all, Rashods Misiros, who is joining us from Scotland. Hello. And the second one joining us is Sanita Ločmele. As I mentioned, that Laura was an inspiration to me. Well, Sanit was an inspiration for my whole family. She still lives in Sweden with 2 little kids, and they have a whole family of the whole family is vegan. So when I started my vegan journey, Sanit was a great help for me and my family. She helped us start our journey being vegans. So I'm quickly just going to check if Rashad can hear me. Rashad, can you hear me? So we could see if we can hear you as well. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you as well. Thank you. Sanita, what about you? Yes, I can hear you as well. Very well. First question I am going to ask the speakers here, so the panel discussion topic is going to be the main topic of our is the same as the main topic of our conference. Is a plant is it essential for environmental stability and people's well-being to have a plant-based diet? So Elvis talked to us about sports. The other speaker talked to us about nutrition. So right now, my question to you is, how can you combine the 2 of those? So first of all, I'm going to ask Rafik. Rafik lives a vegan lifestyle, and he is also a sports judge. So I want to ask him, can you combine being active during sports and also eat a plant-based diet? So maybe 15 years beforehand I would have answered differently, but for the past 3 years I've been a vegan, so I can definitely say that yes, it has helped me being a vegan, and it has helped me with sports. So right now, if I could go beforehand, if I could go exercise 3 or 4 times a week, yeah, maybe go run across, and maybe after eating a meal I would crash, then right now I could say that I feel like I recover way sooner. Yes, of course, I eat a bit more often because I also spend more energy, but still I can say 100% that you can combine these. So the next question is going to be to Armand. Maybe you can tell us as well. You also live a vegan lifestyle, so would you also agree to Rafix? Yes, I would definitely agree to him. What I would like to add is that if you're on a plant-based diet and you are active in the sports sense, you can maybe you have to be a bit more specific about your diet preferences, but you can get the necessary nutrition. But Laura is not a vegetarian vegan here, but so we have different point of view. Laura, how do you think? Can we combine professional sports or just sports with a plant-based diet? Yes, well, I have been kind of have been on a plant-based diet when I was because of my kids for a few months, but wasn't very physically active, but it did work. And I totally agree that recovery is way better and way faster when you are on a plant-based diet. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to ask the people from the outside world, so to say. So, Sanit and Rashads. So, a question for you, maybe a bit provocative. Well, you being in Scotland and in Sweden, what do you eat there where you're living right now? What do you eat? Do you eat grass? Maybe Sanit can answer first. So in Sweden we don't really eat a lot of grass. There's mostly rocks here and sand. I think Russia is in the same situation. But we're eating basically the same things that you do in Latvia. Potatoes, grain, all kinds of similar foods to that. So, but in Sweden, the difference is that we have a huge assortment of plant-based products. So we have more choices to make. Yeah? But I could say that Latvia has really had a huge step forward by increasing the amount of plant-based products that are available in our stores. So maybe not all plant-based products are the best health-wise, especially when you're finding something to substitute meat. Yeah? You usually use more products that are more similar to what you ate before, and you might do that especially if you're a novice, but with time and by getting more acquainted with plant-based products and nutrition, so you usually just step away from foods that are made in a factory, even if they are plant-based. Yeah, and we just eat more grains and vegetables. Yeah? What about you, Rushlands? What do you do? Maybe you drink more water. Just like, hello, everybody. I'm just going to give you an example about what I ate yesterday. Because when I flew to Italy, yeah, so I ate a porridge and put some sweets and berries next to it, and that was my breakfast. Then in lunch I ate some macaroni with vegetables, in the airport, I ate a wrap, also a plant-based wrap. Yeah. Just basically just eating the same things as you, just without meat, without animal products. So without milk, without eggs, without cheese, without meat. But I keep eating everything else. I eat the same as you, and maybe I don't drink milk, but just drink water. Okay, thank you for your answers. Next question is going to be to Armands. Taking into consideration the fact that he is still studying and living with his parents, so is it more complicated? For grown-ups, it's a bit easier. We make our own decisions. We decide what we're going to eat for ourselves. But when you're still living in a family with your parents, it might be a bit different. So Armand, how easy or difficult is it being a vegan when you're still living with your parents? So maybe a lot of young people will want to know the answer to this question as well. So, well, I did get to live on my own when I was in an Erasmus project in Portugal, and I got the opportunity to eat whatever I wanted myself. But now, when I'm here with my parents and I ask my mom, for example, could you please buy me coconut milk, and then she buys like rice milk or something different. And then maybe there's like cheese in some kind of food that my mother puts in. Then maybe there are difficulties like this where they sadly maybe accidentally put some cheese in the wrong plate, or maybe the wrong kind of milk in the wrong cup. But it happens, and it is a bit uncomfortable, but thankfully my parents are supportive. No, thank you. That gives me a great idea of how it might be to have your parents adjust to your diet. So yeah, of course your parents are supportive, but there are some situations where conflict situations, but sounds like you can get through them with the sense of humor. So I already mentioned, Rafik, that you are a basketball judge, and this summer you worked on in European games. So during the season, definitely you have a huge physical stress on your body, and that's not your only job, and you have to do something else during the day. So maybe not as much about nutrition, but maybe more about what Elvis talked about. What is your routine? What are things that you do each day to keep yourself awake and energetic? So very good question. So maybe a few years ago, I did sports less because my recovery took a bit longer. But now, since I've become vegan, I stay active each day, at least 30 minutes a day. If I don't go to a gym, I do push-ups or sit-ups at home or other exercises. But usually like 5 times a week, I am at the gym or just working out. So it has become a basically daily routine. So now if I don't go to the gym, I feel like there's something missing, that I have to go, that I have to be active. But actually, I want to tell you a short story why I become a vegan. So about me, it's a bit different. I'm not a huge... it's not because I'm a supporter of animals or like a lot of other people's, but for me, 4 years ago, I got back my blood work, and they said that my cholesterol levels are too high. And I was like, what? But how could that be? Like, I thought to myself, how could that be? I was not overweight. I kept active, and I thought that it's fine. But then I talked with my brother. You can see Rošalots, yeah, he's my brother in Scotland, well, Italy right now. He was already a vegan, and I talked with him, and and the doctors said that, well, in 5 years, this is going to be a huge problem. The cholesterol levels will rise, and at the same time, they realized that he might have higher sugar levels than necessary in their blood. Yeah, and then I talked with my brother, and I thought that, oh, if I have high blood sugar levels, that might be because I eat too many sweets or something like that. But no, it turns out it was because I was eating too much meat. So others asked me, why did I not become a vegetarian and became a vegan? Well, I'm one of those people that's all in or nothing, yeah? And I thought that it's going to be difficult because, like, my background, I'm from Azerbaijan and we love eating meat, but you know what? Really, I don't miss meat. I feel way better, I have better mood, I recover way faster after working out and after some kind of injuries. But really, I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian or vegan. There has to be a click for yourself, yeah? In your age, I didn't imagine that I would ever sit here on stage and support being a vegan, because I was like, oh yeah, where am I going to get the protein? But then I realized, yeah, actually you can do it, and the biggest impact is just starting to do it and being physically active. So yeah, actually, that's true. If you think that it's really difficult to switch up your diet and you'll have really awkward social interactions, but imagine you going to Azerbaijan and saying that you're not going to eat meat, yeah? Yeah, you try and go there and say that you don't eat meat, you'll see what happens. So now we're going to ask a question to the moms, Sanita and Anna. So I follow both of you on Instagram, and both of you like running. And maybe a lot of people think, what's so cool about running? What's the reason to just go outside and just run in a straight line somewhere? Maybe it's better to go to the gym and work out. So maybe my first question to Sanita is, where do you find the pleasure in running for personally? I'm gonna be honest, I hate running. My motivation's a bit different. My only motivation for everything in life is so I could live a longer life and I would be healthy for longer. Because maybe I'm gonna tell you my story about how I got into sports and got into plant-based diet. So when I was at school, I hated sport. I think most girls at school hate sports. Yeah? So I really have to say a huge quotations thanks to my teacher from school, because really it felt like it was horrible. He felt like he had to give all the disgusting commentary that he felt like saying about girls during sports lessons. So, but maybe it was the 90s and it was just a different time. But I found sport when I was around 20. I just didn't have anything to do. I started going outside, started running, and after a while, when I ran my first half marathon, I realized this I like way more. I like this feeling that being active gives me, not just mood-wise, but also my body. And I liked myself more after starting to be active. Because beforehand, my only activity was going to the club to work out. So afterwards, I went to study in Riga Stradin University to become a trainer. And I really wasn't really going there to learn it as a profession. I really went there to study, to learn this for myself, to find this information for myself, because in my family, sport has never really been something that everybody does. Sport was an activity that was forced upon you. So since that moment, it's been 15 years, a lot of years, and sport has stayed in my life. And I became a vegan more than 10 years ago. And during past 10 years, I don't know if anything has really changed, but my motivation is that nothing has gotten worse. Not health-wise, not sports-wise. So no decrease in uh, in the outcome. So yeah, really, well, I do run, but I'm not one of those people that are gonna jump around saying, "Yeah, running is great." Oh, so you cancel the idea that running is great? No. Okay, so then Laura, maybe you can sell running to the kids. That's well, it's not really that I go outside and like, yes, I can run. No, it's more like I go outside because I want to be outside, yeah? And of course, when I start running, it's like, oh, I should have slept a bit longer. But then when you really get into, when you start running and when you finish your run, you realize that it was the greatest thing that I could have done for myself this morning. Why I do this, when looking back at my life, when I started this routine of running in the mornings, when I got complications during my life, just started feeling bad, so I started finding out information about how to make myself feel better, and one of the ideas was to run, not just as a physical exercise, but also you having the opportunity to meditate and think about being with yourself. Don't put headphones in, don't listen to music, no, just think, stay with yourself, be in your mind and meditate a bit, and that really helped me. And because I have 4 kids, having some time for yourself, having alone time, this half an hour in the morning is great for me, and I can plan my day and get home and answer these 250 questions that my kids have. So you started talking about this motivation and your motivation, and maybe as a life coach, you could give two or three ideas to the kids to improve their motivation. So if we talk about motivation, it's not going to be like you blowing out your birthday candles, wishing for something to happen, and it's going to. Really, it's not going to be that way. What I would recommend you to do, set a goal. Yeah? Set a goal. What do you want to achieve? Why do you want to achieve this? Yeah? And the second thing would be, how much do you want to be doing this? Yeah? How much do you want to achieve it? On a scale from 1 to 10. If it's a 10, you're definitely going to do it. Yeah? Number 3 is then find people that can support you and to help you motivate to keep going towards your goal. And then if there's some moments when you feel that you're not working towards your goal as much anymore, then maybe you have to reevaluate your goal, and maybe you have to switch something up. Yeah, but the goal is personal to everyone. So on this note, this motivational note, I would like to say conclusion. First of all, I would like to ask you that you were willing to join and talk about this important topic. And as Rafik said beforehand, it's not a matter of making you make these decisions, but giving you the information so you could make these decisions on your own. Yeah. So thank you for the speakers. Huge applause to all of you here. Thank you. Let's wait a little moment, please. Let's not rush on out of here. So let us start with Laura. Thank you, Laura. Huge applause to Laura. So one by one, next is Armand. Thank you, Armand. From Ventspils Technicum to Ventspils Technicums. And thank you, Rafix. Thank you. And a huge thanks to Roshads and Sanita. We're going to send you some kind of digital thanks you. So applause, and applause to yourselves for being so patient, because it's been 3 hours sitting here, listening, gaining new knowledge. Yeah. In the end, I could see that you're getting a bit uneasy, but right now you're free as birds, so enjoy today. Thank you very much. And thank you all. Hope the translation was good enough to understand. Have a very nice day. It's been Antis Antons with you.